Good morning, members of the press. Thank you for coming over to our today's press briefing. In line with our relentless campaign against criminality, as well as our principles of transparency, we have invited you once more this morning for this press briefing on significant accomplishments from the CIDG as well as the PNP Highway Patrol Group. To begin the press briefing, we will first hear the report from the PNP Highway Patrol Group to be presented by Police Senior Superintendent Sheldon Hakaba.
Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to present to you the statistics on carnapping for year 2013. So we have recorded validated carnapping incidents totaling to 5,438. That is for year 2013. So out of that, 4,734 are motorcycles and 704 motor vehicles. Out of the 704 motor vehicles, 69%, almost 70, were stolen while parked unattended. For we have also 15.2% taken with or forcibly taken. Yung remaining 15% other modes, as you can see, yung other modes natin, we have failed to return, carnap me, meron insurance fraud, loan from casino, bank financial fraud, and stapa. So that's the breakdown. For motorcycle, total of 4,734. That's something like 77% were taken while parked unattended. We have 7% taken at gunpoint. We have also other modes of carnapping, such as mentioned earlier, pay to return, carnapping, insurance fraud, etc. So next is I will take up the carnapping situation for calendar 2014 from January to April. So for the month of January, we have a total of 81 incidents of carnapping for four-wheel. By the way, we got this data from the Regional Investigation Division as well as the Highway Patrol Group. So nag-collaborate yung two units in order to have an accurate data. So that is nationwide. As you can see, most carnapping incidents occurred in Metro Manila, where 44 incidents occurred. And followed by Calabarzon, where 22 incidents occurred. And the rest, 4, the rest 0 incidents. For motorcycle, we have recorded 542 incidents of carnapping spread all over the country. But prevalent in NCR and Calabarzon, as well in Region 6 and Region 3. Next. For the month of February, we have the same recurring incident. 35 incidents occurred in Metro Manila for four-wheel vehicles and up, and as well in Calabarzon area. For motorcycles, we have incidents all over the country, almost hindi naman kakalayo. For the month of March, next. March, the same trend. for the month of April. Next. April, the same trend also. We have this time we increase our, there was an increase. This is for January to April, we sum it up. So total of 257 incidents for the past 4 months. If you compare this data a few years ago, the average monthly carnapping rate for 4-wheel and more wheels, it is something like 200 per month. So this is very minimal, controllable, considering that it is for the first 4 months of the year. For motorcycle, we have recorded 2,405 incidents. Next. So kung i-break down natin yun, types of stolen motor vehicles, for sedan, we have 176 incidents, SUV 77, and truck category, we have 32 incidents. Ano po yung madalas na karnapin? Sa sedan, we have Toyota Vios. We have recorded 77 incidents. For Mitsubishi, that's I think L300 van and some sedan, we have 54 incidents. And we have just a little incident for Isuzu, Mazda, Nissan, Hyundai, and Honda. On the other hand, for SUV, we have recorded 17 incidents for Toyota Fortuner, 9 incidents for Mitsubishi Montero, Isuzu, we have mostly Isuzu Fuego, and D-Max. For Nissan, that's X-Trail, 10 incidents, Hyundai, and Honda. Next. For our accomplishments, for the first 4 months of 2014, we have recorded total 132 recovered motor vehicles. That's spread all over the country. So the most na naka-recover yung NCR natin, followed by Region 3, Region 4, Calabarzon, and we have 17 recoveries for our Special Operations Division. For our clearance, we have recovered 6 motor vehicles. That's all carnap with covered by alarm and a complaint from the victim. For motorcycles, we have recovered 63 stolen motorcycles all over the country. Next. So this is our accomplishments. We have a total of 195 recovered motor vehicles and motorcycles. We have neutralized our latest recovery. Ito yung mga luxury vehicles that we recovered by unit last May 15. So ito yung stolen late last year in Pasig. BMW X5 SUV. The owner is Auto Ali, BMW. Address at Ethon Centris, Barangay Tinyahan, Quezon City. So next. So, another Nissan Sport Sedan. This is worth about 2.5 million. Owner is Mr. Eugene Villanueva from Atayan Avenue, Quezon City. These 2 vehicles were taken by next business. John Marvin Dadan. So ito rin yung kumuha ng Range Rover from the family of Paredo. Sometime last quarter of 2013, and it was recovered in Bacolod City. Now this guy has a pending warrant of arrest in violations of Section 5 PD 16 Code. At large pa yan, at large. So, kung ang tatanong ko yung mamaya about SPG statistics on drunk driving, we have this number. So, I'm ready to answer question.
Thank you, Jack, for that enlightening information. The question portion will come at the end. And for your additional, alam ko, ito yung lalabas sa balita eh. Kasi yan ang hinihiling ng ating mga kaibigan sa media. At this point, we will now hear the presentation to be given by Police Director Benjamin Magalong of the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Sir?
Thank you, Marty. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We would like to begin from the usual presentation on statistics, and I'll be presenting to you some of the details of our accomplishments on wanted persons, organized crime groups, and our investigative accomplishments. Latest accomplishments on that hand is the arrest of a MLM plumber by the name of Miyagi Hamida, which was actually conducted sometime in June 1. And in fairness to the armed forces of the Philippines, the information actually came from ISA and possibly CITG. And this particular operations, it was other units were actually involved, like Special Action Force and the Marine. Next. This is the neutralization of a syndicated crime group involved in counterfeiting of a foreign currency. In this particular case, it was a joint operation with the PRO7 units, although CIDG is actually the lead unit. And we confiscated different types of currencies like dollars, yens, and Brazilians, and Iraqi currency. Next slide, please. Because of our additional focus on anti-drug operations, especially those in the category 1 or clandestine laboratory, we were able to confiscate 8 kilos of high-grade meth and arrest of one Chinese drug trafficker by the name of Kenny Chua. This was in May 21. Of a high-profile personality who was involved in the Maguindanao massacre by the name of Warden Ligawan. He is actually a former Philippine National Police personnel. Next is the arrest of a CNN personality, high-ranking personality of the NPA in Visayas region by the name of Roy Erector. And again, this is a joint operation with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The information was provided by ISA. Another is the arrest of a leader of a gun for hire and at the same time a drug trafficker by the name of Rodrigo Abian. He is well known in the province of Ilocos Sur. Next is the arrest of Johanny Ledania, another member of the gun for hire operating in Pangasinan, and he is very much affiliated with a very prominent politician in central Pangasinan. On the campaign against loose firearms, we had a series of operations in the Visayas, especially in the area of Cebu City and Danao. And a series of operations were actually launched in May, and total of about, during the first operation, 17 firearms were seized. In succeeding operations, another 20, next slide please, another 20 firearms were actually confiscated. the area of firearm traffickers, our operations in Cavite actually netted 2 members of a drug trafficking or firearm trafficking syndicate. That was sometime in May. Let me now go to our investigative accomplishments. One is the well-known case that we handled, and this is the apprehension of an officer of CIDG, namely Police Chief Inspector Benito Reydado. He's now in jail, and we have also filed similar cases against 30 more personnel of CIDG as well as civilian agents who are affiliated with this officer. In May 14, we again filed violations of Republic Act 6975, I'm sorry, 9165 against the group of police superintendent Baloyo, intelligence officer of Pampanga TPO, and 11 others. Ito yung case na may huli sila in Pampanga, Lakeshore, Pampanga, and they were able to arrest one of the well-known Korean drug traffickers. Fortunately, what they did was to extort money by millions or in millions and allow the drug trafficker to escape. Ginawa pa nila rito, nahuli pa sila ng iba, a small guy. They were able to, we believe they were able to seize around more than 100 kilos of meth, but they only declared 36 kilos. So we filed a series of cases against them. Another case is the recent case involving 6 NPD personnel. Ito yung nangyari noong May 27, and an SPO4 by the name of Carpio actually raped yung asawa ng pinabanggit daw nilang allegedly a drug trafficker. Actually, nag-extort lang sila ng pera dahil nakikiusap yung pamilya rito to lower the amount being extorted from them. Ang ginawa ng isang SPO4 is to elicit sex with the wife o yung common law wife yung pinuli nila. Nag-complain sa atin dahil inosente yung lalaki. At we have already filed a case against them. And at the same time, may request na rin tayo. We already requested for the issuance of restricted custody by the Director of MPD over these 6 MPD personnel. Our case is the Girdle case. Ito naman yung pagkamatay ng anak ni Police Senior Superintendent Manny Girdle. Imbisigan natin yung mismanagement of case by the health service. And you can see our recommendation there. At sabi na rin ni Senior Superintendent Girdle, ayaw na niya pag-usapan ito. Let everything put to rest. Once this investigation and this particular tragic incident put to rest. Something that will probably agitate your mind is the investigation of the AK-47. And the investigation is still ongoing, and we just had a committee hearing. We just attended the committee hearing in Congress yesterday, the House of Representatives. And finally, ito yung Delphin Lee case. I personally filed a case against the lawyers in Delphin Lee because of deception. Napansin nyo siguro na ilang beses nilang pinapalabas na gifted na yung warrant At pinapaniwala nila kami. Lifted na yung warrant, pati yung mga agencies, kaya pinailang nila ng kaso. The case that we filed against them is actually obstruction of justice. And just the other day, I was, my lawyer represented me in the preliminary investigation. That ends my presentation. Good morning again. Very good.
Thank you, sir, sa isang malaman at masustansyang presentation, sir. At this juncture, may I, as a way of administrative announcements, all presentations will be furnished to you through the PIO email. So, doon sa mga iba, don't worry, magbibigyan kayo the usual channels. Secondly, ang unang topic natin, of course, yung questions will be on the topic before we ask on other matters, if any. So, may I ask Ms. Hubert, sino ba una? Okay, first question will be coming from Raymond Paas of DCRH. Mike.
Morning, sir. Kay Mr. Superintendent Mataba, doon sa issue ng kasi yung last part ng presentation nyo tungkol sa drunk driving. Kasi hindi, akala namin kasi nasasama doon yun sa forthcoming na implementation ng anti-drunk and anti-drunk and drug driving law. Kung ano yung magiging role dito ng PNP as much as you have seen with your record na nakapataas yung mataas yung insidente ng drunk driving na hinahanda ng ISP.
Actually, we only investigate, we are mandated to investigate vehicular accidents that are fatal. All the rest are being investigated by the local territorial police. So we only collect this data. That's why we came up with this data for 2011, 2012, and so on. With regards to the implementation of drunk driving, we are still awaiting for the official communication from the Land Transportation Office of the DOTC for the furnishing of copy of the IRR. So the agency that we call the shots is probably LTO or DOTC. So there are several steps that will be followed before we could implement the law on drunk and drug driving.
Thank you.
Salamat sa kay Gano.
Before you kay Jan Magano, I may add, Raymond, for your enlightenment also. The pattern kasi dito, yung template na susundin sa Anti-Drug and Drug Driving Act ay yung pareho sa ginagawa ng LTO sa PNP, yung deputize PNP and other law enforcement agencies na kasaan sa batas. Kaya antay ng SPG yung details ng IRR. Kasama rin sa tasking ng PNP na mag-procure ng mga equipment at mga kagamitan para ma-properly implement itong anti-drug and drug driving.
So may ask din Colonel Nakapan kung may breath analyzer na okay sa
Kasama yun sa procurement from after the drafting of the IRR. Kasama yun sa procurement yung breath analyzer. So the funds will be coming from road users like tax.
may Director Magalso. Doon sa last presentation yun sa case ni Delphine, saan po pending yung case na ipinay niya sir against the 2 lawyers of Mr.
Ito yung sa Quezon City. Prosecutor's Office.
Ito sir yung pinalalabas nila before na parang may na-delist siya from the most wanted.
Yes. Pinapalabas nila dahil na-delete na. Pinapalabas nila ngayon na lifted na yung warrant. They were insisting na lifted na yung warrant. dahil na-delete. Pero it does not necessarily mean na pag gusto wais, wala yung pangalan ko doon. It does not necessarily mean na lifted the warrant. Only the court can actually lift the warrant. Issue the order, lifted the warrant.
Sir, kailan final po ito, sir?
Nung final ko to, nung May 14. Ako personally, ako pumunta sa prosecutor's office. Pinapit ko yung affidavit. Hindi ito.
Thank you, sir.
Second question will come from Edwin.
Marami pong modus na pwedeng gawin dyan. Una-una, madaling isip ko sa Mindanao. So, they resale it. Kaya yung mga nare-recover natin in Mindanao, yung iba, not tampered yung chassis. So, the same. Nire-resale up from Luzon, they will take it to Visayas and Mindanao sa mga remote areas. So, kung nare-recover ko. Yung iba naman, sa tampering, that's why they change yung original document, then they resell it. Easy money. Yung iba naman, yung ibang modus operandi, they chop it to pieces. So maraming motorcycles na kumisan luma na, they change parts. Meron yan nakakabili ng mga full sum. Halimbawa, nakabili ka ng 100 units. Ito yung 100 units, ginamit ng isang delivery company. So, worn out na yung mga motorsiklo niya, nabili niya ng mura. Then ito, namimili lang ito ng mga undocumented motorcycles. Then they change the parts to make it look new and resell it. Diba? So, pag na-resell nila, may value na yung motorcycle. So, yung motorsiklo, madali lang kasing kunin everywhere. Pag nag-park ka sa tabi, natabihan ka rin ng van, bubuhatin lang yung motor mo kahit makalak yung motor mo. That's why, nagpo-propose kami ng mga city or municipal ordinance na all establishments should put up yung parang yung parking where they can hook or yung ikatay na yung motorsiklo nila when left unattended. So kung magagawa ng ordinance ng mga city and municipal units natin, siguro mapapawasan ng natin ang karnaping ng motorcycles. Kasi everywhere, yung mga, kahit kayo siguro kung nagmumotor kayo, iniwan nyo lang unattended kaya sa tabi, not knowing na pwedeng makuha siya anytime. 1 or 2 minutes, wala na yung motor mo. Ganun kadali.
So, nakamit ko, Mindanao. Ibang experience din kami, may mga natatala sa Mindanao na even yung mga 4-wheel vehicles. Ano na nangyari dun sa nababanggit na yung pag nirorobo, dapat hahanapan ng ORCR. Ano bang nangyari dun sa na-observe mo kung talagang hindi pa rin yata na yung director?
We will try to revise yung law to Congress to come up with a bill sa shipment of motor vehicles. So until now, hindi pa naman nag-revise yung law on anti-kidnapping. Meron din tayong effort to come up with a presidential order to revoke the memorandum order signed by former President GMA regarding the cancellation of CND. So until now, wala pang result.
Wala akong magagawa. Kanin mo yung Olympic.
We have a look. Kaya may authority tayo to regulate this shipment. Otherwise, kaso abutin namin sa shippers or motors.
So, kahit talagang walang ORCR, may sasakay.
Yes. magbabayad ng sahod. Ang problema, hindi naman sinasabit sa amin kasi they are not mandated. Pagka alarmado, hindi naman nalalaman ng konto ng mga shippers. Nililista lang nila kung minsan. Katulad ni Dadan, sinip niya yung Range Rover, pinalitan niya ng plaka na legitimate galing sa kanya. Binigay niyang ORCR yung kanya rin. So, how could they detect? Kung kami mag-check, siyempre, ito yung iba namin, yung sistema namin. Kailangan namin authority to do that.
General Maranzo. So yung case po ni Maria Cristina Perla, talagang ayaw po bang ipapublicize? Is this a case of medical malpractice?
Hindi naman. Hindi naman ganun lumalabas. Hindi naman ganun lumalabas yung outcome. Yung findings namin sa investigation. At the moment, makiusap lang ni Senior Superintendent Manny Berlan is just to put everything they suffered. Was a very tragic incident. Wala namang masamang intention ng health service. Just that we don't have the expertise and same time we don't have the equipment available during the time unless you know plastic illness. So, sabi ni Manager Landy, sir, okay na po sir sa akin. Ayaw na po sir mag-file ng kaso right now.
Next question will be coming from Glenn Wego of PCWB.
Stage of investigation po.
We're now in the final part of our investigation. We're reviewing our cases, and soon we will be filing a case against those we believe are liable. We are now, we just attended a congressional hearing yesterday, and hindi natapos yung congressional hearing, so there will be another hearing set next week. At the moment, hindi pa lang pwede mo sabihin tungkol sa investigation.
Pero sir, saan po napunta yung mga baril? Nasaan na po yung mga baril?
As I mentioned during the committee hearing yesterday, lahat ng baril na yun, more than 1,000, actually ended up in the hands of the insurgents, the people from.
So yung mga nababanggit po ba sa media ng mga general, sila po ba yung nakakasuhan sir?
Yeah, sila, makakasuhan.
Kasama po ba rin si General Pagkasanta sa mga nakakasuhan?
Yes, kasama sila, makakasuhan.
Sir, pero yung kaso wala pa naman. Wala pa naman ngayon.
Wala pa. Conforme pa. Conforme pa din sa outcome ng aming, sa recommendation namin, pinatapos pa namin ang recommendation.
So, mga ilang generals po sir, yung mga pinag-usapan natin.
May mga dalawang retired, tatlong retired, and merong apat na active.
all in all po ito, no? So sir, yung sa operation nila, paano na po, sabi niyo po, kasi mga insurgents, mga NPA, paano na, mula sa PNP, paano nakarating sa kanila? Anong channel ang ginawa? May black market pa silang pinapapasahan? Parang gano'n.
Hindi naman. Gawa ito ng isang tao lang. Yung tao nag-facilitate ng licensing at the same time yung sale. In the person of Mr. Lozada, may-ari nung isang security agency, yung Caraga Security Agency. Siya lang ang nag-facilitate niya. Siya na rin ang nag-deliver lahat sa Nagipol Cup.
Sir, General Magano, yung sa Del Pindi case, bakit po nailan ninyo ng kaso yung mga pagkala? Sabi niya parang may deception na nangyari, pero hindi po ba kahit na masabihin po ng mga pagkala pag wala court order na release sila, hindi po sila matanggap?
Yun ang defense nila. Yun ang defense nila. Pero sa amin, so para so concerned, we have consulted our third-party lawyers. Kasi sinabi nila na malakas yung kaso na nila.
Please, Sir Makaban po. Sir, yung mga siglo, no, sabi nyo, saka yung mga MVs natin, sabi nyo, dati 200 per month, at bumaba itong mga incident po ng carnapping, saka yung motorcycle theft. Dahil po ba sa makawala na ito yung malalaking grupo?
Yung sustained operation natin, marami tayong arrest, marami tayong napailan ng case, marami tayong napakulong. So, until now, nandun sila sa loob ng kulungan, so suspended yung kanila, siguro, temporarily, yung operations. Dahil na-identify na natin, chine-check natin to on a regular basis, ang mga ginagawa, yung mga operators natin, para always after these people. So, naglaylo lang mga
Sir, doon po sa Roro, may move na ba kayo na makapagtulungan sa PNP Maritime or sa Coast Guard para makapaglagay ng bawat HPG sa bawat Roro points para po hindi na po mangyari na sabi nyo nga po, alam naman natin sa HPG na doon dumataan talaga eh. Mga Montero nga po napupunta sa Maguindanao, sa Lanao, sa Marawi, kung po yung bahay nila, pero mga Montero sila. Tapos, alam po doon, mura po ang bilya. So, paano po natin mapipigilan po? Napag-meet nyo, kahit wala pong RCR, kaya pong i-ship po.
sa lahat ng fear, ang nakokontrol ng PPA. Pero yung PPA, dinabaksa yung SPT. So, we cannot do otherwise kasi may sarili silang mandate sa loob. Nandun na kami sa labas, we can only monitor few, pero not all. Kasi may lumalabas yan, may paplakahan din kami. Pero, siyempre, within 24 hours, mayroong mga nag-street din.
So yun nga sir, di ba high time na rin na malaman din ang mga pamahalaan sa gobyerno na kailangan may HPG na dyan para hindi na po mahulit. Ang mahulit na pupunta lang po sa Visayas sa Mindanao yung mga nakatama po.
That's why every time we recover vehicles, we always recommend doon sa last portion ng report natin to restore yung shipment clearance. But wala pa naman dyan balita doon sa natin.
So last na lang sir follow-up. So gusto nyo ngayon sa HPG magkakaroon ng shipment clearance from you bago pumadala yan sa mga major islands sa inyo po.
Correct.
Ano po magiging benefits po sa mga may-ari po ng mga sasakyan?
Actually, siyempre, pagka nagkaroon tayo ng shipment clearance, mababawasan yung carnapping na tinatala sa island provinces. So, lesser yung buwan natin, yung incident of carnapping kasi walang market. Hindi naman nila pwedeng itago yan. Pangalawa, hindi naman natin i-focus yung other vehicles such as yung truck, yung nagdadala ng talakad. Yung mga present natin na ako dyan, yung statistics, ang re-require lang natin yung mga SUVs and cars, automobiles, and motorcycles.
So in that essence sir, kahit wala na kayo sa pier, basta mayroong permit, hindi na sila makakalusot.
Like, ganun yung nangyayari na before. Nung meron pa tayong shipment clearance.
Kaya po nawala yung shipment clearance.
Pero meron ng 2008, 2003 daw. Kung may PIO.
Salamat po. General Magana.
Thank you. Unahin ko na si Dwayne, si Mix, no? For Mix Ortega of Solar News.
Pwede ba kayo doon or because when you say box out, you're supposed to be there, but they don't let you in. So ano talaga?
May sarili silang pulis sa loob ng pier, di ba? May kung tayo, may port police. So, bawal pumasok yung other police, particularly yung SPT.
Based on your investigation, do you think may connivance na nangyayari between these
Meron kasi may mga kung tayo, experience, may mga recoveries tayo. Like for example, doon sa Cagayan de Oro, 3 motor vehicles were taken from yung Tugo pa delivery sa compound ng Tugo. PPA allowed that, di ba? O without any requirement. Supposed to be they have to report to us, pero hindi naman may-report kung ano yung sinip nila. So, wala naman kaming system of monitoring.
Sir, balikan ko lang yung presentation natin kanina about the drunk driving statistics. You presented to us figures 2011 to 2014, pero hindi natin pwede masabi na nag-drop. Ano? Kasi 2014, ilang buwan pa lang tayo.
Yes, yung 2014, that's for the first 4 months. January, February, March, April. So that's why mababa.
But would you say there was a drop? And if yes, where do you attribute that to? Dahil ba sa anti-drunk driving law na ongoing?
Hindi pa natin masabi eh. We have to finish the year para makahabol siya. So almost 1 quarter, almost 200 na. Baka malampasan niya pa yung 590 na yan. So erratic naman yung cases. Mataas yung 2011, mababa yung 2012, tumasok sa 2013.
But comparing it to different years but of the same period, would you say mataas or
Yung trend niya halos the same. The same.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark Gabriel.
Sir, kay General Nagal. Sir, balik ako sa AK-47. Sabi niyo, sir, yung 3 retired tsaka for actives, ano daw mga general sa balat? At saka, ano yung naging papel nila rin?
Sa kanila dumaan yung mga papeles. Kasi may process flow pagdating sa licensing ng firearm. At siyempre dumaan sa kanila yung mga papeles. At complex sa kanila to examine the papers, to exercise due diligence, ang tinatawag natin. At kung nagawa nila yung dapat nilang gawin, hindi dapat sana hindi napunta sa insurgents ng mga firearm.
Sir, may info ba na may mga kumita dito sa mga involved?
Wala naman kami ebidensya.
Tapos sir, si Mr. Losada, paano yung naging proseso? Kahit hindi lang sir pa-explain, paano niya nadala sa NPA? Paano yung
Bale, simple lang. Dinideliver sa akin, tatawagin siya, pipikapin niya yung mga firearms doon sa tindahan ng Twin Pines sa Butuan City. Tapos kukontakin na niya yung mga NPA, mag-usap na sila kung saan ang delivery point. Very casual lang yung pag-deliver niya sa mga firearms. Parang nandilipat lang siya at bagay.
Okay, follow-up question by Edwin Seridal. Kung wala nang maghahabol, that will be our last question.
Natin po kayo sir, sino yung contact ni Mr. Losada sa LPA, particularly sa Butuan City? Anong command?
Yeah, meron eh. Na-identify din namin.
Identify yung command.
Yes.
Sir, are you at liberty to
Ano mo?
Sir, kasi napakarami ng encounter na gaganap po sa area ngayon, lahat part ng Mindanao. Meron bang info na may nare-recover na mga ganong klaseng baril sa mga encounter ng AFP and NPA?
Yeah, meron. In fact, kung sa last February, part of our investigation is to determine kung may mga firearms that actually ended up in the hands of the NPA. So, ang ginawa namin talaga is get in touch with the Philippine Army, ask them to turn over to us all the firearms, AK-47 that were captured by Army troops during encounters. And immediately nag-respond ang Philippine Army under General Rivera. The 44 firearms were actually turned over to us. And these were subjected to forensic examination. And as a result of that, 5 firearms were actually traced to sa part of the missing AK-47 rifles. Yung 39 other firearms, hindi na pwedeng i-restore yung serial numbers because the numbers were actually severely defaced. Kaya hindi na restore na condition.
Well, the physical condition, is it still brand new or no, aside from the serial number being defaced, based on the physical condition?
Siyempre, gamit na yung mga, pero makikita mo talaga na pareho to dun sa mga shipment na nawawala. Itsura niya.
Saan actually na-recover ito? Saan area na?
Mostly sa Caraga region and parts of Western Mindanao.
So out of the, ilan po exactly sir yung AK na
Yung 44 na firearms na tinurn over ng Philippine Army for forensic examination, 5 of that positive na galing doon sa
Mr. Lozada?
doon sa mga nawawala, yes. Doon sa mga nabili ni Mr. Lozada.
How many are still missing? So if we have already
Total lahat according to Mr. Lozada, total lahat. And according to, based on documents, ang nai-deliver lahat is 1004. 1004.
1004. Oh, connected ba ito sir sa ating sa states yung napabalita yung senator?
Absolutely not. Not at all connected.
So, ang danger pala nito, ginagamit din against government authorities itong mga balita po sir. Yung mga AK-47 na missing.
Correct. I agree.
Okay, there are no more questions on my queue. So at this juncture, we again thank our resource persons, Post Director General Benjamin Malalong and Police Senior Superintendent Sheldon Nakaman for gracing this media forum and briefing. And also, of course, to the members of the press, thank you for coming. We have some light refreshments and snacks at the back. Feel free to partake. Thank you very much and good morning.